How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have some big Workhorse news today, and I just sold out my position. So I've been a long time bull on Workhorse, but I've given a few circumstances where I would sell off Workhorse. So definitely stay through to the end so that I can explain to you exactly what happened, what I'm thinking, and when I would possibly buy back in. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to get this news a lot faster, I did tell my Patreon members as soon as possible. I can try to upload to YouTube as quickly as possible, but I can only go so fast. So definitely join the Patreon if you're interested in that. A lot of people were talking about this even as I was just reading the news. Also, if you want those 4 free stocks through WeBull, you can definitely check out WeBull. They allow pre-market and post-market trading. So if you had this happen, if you were someone that was invested in Workhorse and you could not sell out after hours when you wanted to, definitely check out WeBull because I just sold out after market hours about 5:30 Eastern time. So definitely check that out. And you get those 4 free stocks as long as you deposit $100. And if you haven't hit subscribe, please hit subscribe. We do updates all the time when crazy news like this comes out. So we're going to read through exactly what happened, but you can see there's a massive dip today at about 450 after some news came out from trucks.com. Now, I did not see this news for a little bit. I was actually talking with someone. So unfortunately, I sold off a little bit after this news came out. Now, I ended up being up about 15% on the position because we had been adding for a long time. But if you remember, I talked about how if we get another delay in the contract, if there's any kind of news that I think could send the stock down dramatically for the long term, that I would sell out. Now, we just got this news from trucks.com. A lot of people are wondering whether this is real or not. They say that already behind the schedule, the USPS announced another delay in its efforts to award more than a $6 billion contract to replace its fleet of aging mail trucks. The Postal Service told trucks.com that it expects to reach a contract with one or more of the teams bidding for the business in the federal government's second fiscal quarter of 2021. This works out to the first quarter of next year. So again, not a huge pushback, but again, it's another quarter, it's another month. You can see that they're planning on it next quarter now. Previously, the agency said they would award the business early this year, but then pushed it back to the end of 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It missed several targets for awarding the contract in 2019 and 2018. So again, several pushbacks, years of pushbacks. Amid continuing COVID-19 concerns and in order to provide for capital investment activities and required approvals, the program schedule has been revised and a decision is now planned for quarter 2 of the fiscal year of 2021, the Postal Service said in a statement to trucks.com on Tuesday. Multiple teams of vehicle manufacturers once competed for the contract, but many have dropped out over the years. The Postal Service is still looking at about 180,000 vehicles. They only have 3 contracts left. So I'll try not to cut out too much right now when I mumble or anything like that because I want to get this out to you as soon as possible. But they are showing, there still are vehicles that are catching on fire. They really need to get more vehicles out there. They need to get new trucks. A lot of the companies competing with this will need some time to ramp up. But we're seeing a massive pullback in Workhorse, and the reason I'm selling out is because it's still inflated from where it was even just a month ago, right? We saw a pretty big drop to about $15 a share. And the fact is, I think a lot of people will sell out once they hear this news. A lot of people will think, okay, this is just another time that the USPS has pushed this back. This is another time that we have to wait longer and longer for this contract. Workhorse might not get the contract in general, so we have to push it back again. We might not get it. I'm just going to sell out. We've seen a lot of other specs that have gone insane right now. I personally am kind of okay with this in the long term because I realize there are a lot of companies that are really good investments, and I realize that you guys might not want to be hearing that, especially if you're a long-term Workhorse investor. But the fact is, there are a lot of companies out there that offer really good returns. So I've talked about this the whole time that I think it's important to diversify. I've had a lot of companies that have gone up 20 to 80% over the last week. Some that have tapered down a little bit, but we took profits. So I am kind of okay with this because this offers my capital up to be invested in other companies. So I was still up 15% on the year. I'm okay with that. That's a pretty good return. And I only started investing in it in the summer. So over 6 months, a 15% return is pretty good. Now I realize that this could go back up. we could actually get more news, and maybe the USPS didn't delay this decision. Maybe trucks.com had it wrong, but trucks.com has done a really good job of covering this since the beginning. They were one of the publications that said it would be end of the year, while a lot of other companies said, maybe late October, maybe late September. Right now, I think we're going to have to wait a while, and I realize that it's kind of stabilizing after market hours. We saw that 13% drop, but I think that it will probably drop even more overnight. I could be wrong, of course, but I would assume a lot of people just can't sell right now because it's post-market hours, or some people just don't know about it. So I think once they hear that, they might sell out. Some people might buy back in, but we're still, again, up pretty high from where it was at one point. We're still up 50% from where it was just a month ago. So if we get closer to the USPS decision, maybe I will buy back in. But the thing is, it could be delayed again. I realize that that's a possibility. So hopefully you guys were able to sell out if you wanted to. Hopefully you could buy it in if you want to buy more and look for the long term. But right now, it's just not something that I'm comfortable with holding on to and kind of holding the bag for a while. I think it probably will drop more, especially with some people selling out, some selling pressure, some short selling pressure. I think that that's definitely something that could happen. So some people might be asking my price target for the end of the year with Workhorse, especially knowing what's happening right now. I think we could see it drop down to maybe $12, $13 a share. And the reason I say that is just because we saw it at $15 a share a couple months ago, and we saw it at $15 a share just a month ago, or $16 a share. I could definitely see it dropping down further than that, especially with one more time that there was a lot of hype that it fell down because the USPS couldn't make their decision. People might think that it's just not worth the time. So I think that it could fall down to $12, $13, $14 a share. There seems to be a resistance at 15, which is something to consider too if you're really looking at it. You can see here it doesn't really fall past 15, but we haven't seen a significant delay from what they've said since there was a lot of hype. So I think that's something to consider too. It could fall down even below that. Only time will tell really, but there have been some delivery delays. We've had to deal with that. We've had to deal with a lot of things that we didn't want to see as investors. Some short seller reports. Some people are joking that Fuzzy Panda is trucks.com, Jerry Hirsch, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just that, again, they had to push it back. So let me know your thoughts on this below. Not the news that we wanted, but maybe just news that we had to take as investors. Again, there are some companies that I'm looking at buying more of. I did a video just today on some stocks that I think could 5x, some stocks that could 10x, some stocks that could 2x. One of them is Pershing Square Tontine Holdings. I talked about this recently. They are the largest SPAC of all time with $4.5 billion in cash that they're looking to deploy. They are looking to buy a mature unicorn. They have a lot of money to throw at it too. We also have some other companies like SBE, which is merging with ChargePoint, that's down pretty significantly on the day. We've seen a couple red days, and I still am up significantly on this position. I realized that I could have taken some profit at 40, and I would have been up about 140% or so, but I think this is a good company over the long term, so I might be buying more of this. Also, NEO is down. I mean, we saw big drops in NEO today. I just did a video on that too, and they were down about 11% throughout the day, and they have been growing a lot. They actually had a lot of good news that came out today, and the stock still went down. So definitely do your research on some companies if you did sell out that you could put your money into. There could be a rocky road ahead. The EV industry kind of got hit hard today, but definitely pay attention. Keep your eyes open for good investments. If you guys want, you can check out the Patreon link down below where you can get in on the action and hear a little bit faster about news like this. If you guys want to check out the link down below to WeBull, definitely check that out too. You can definitely get some free stocks there, 4 free stocks if you deposit $100. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And if you want to see the video on NEO that I just made a couple hours ago and the good news and my price target on them, definitely check out this video here.